later pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this chapter, there is a summary description of all the pastimes performed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the middle period of his activities, as well as the 6 years at the end of his activities. All of these are described in brief. There is also a description of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy that occurred when he recited the verse beginning Ya Kaumara Hara, as well as description of how that ecstasy was explained in the verse beginning Priya Soyam Krishna by Srila Rupa Goswami. Because he wrote that verse, Srila Rupa Goswami was specifically blessed by the Lord. There is also a description of the many books written by Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami. There is also a description of the meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Rupa Goswami, and Srila Sanatan Goswami in the village known as Ramakeli. Text 1. Prabhuji, the meter, I'm not very sure
don't
of
worry,
the
don't
meter.
worry. Just read as a line.
Okay.
Simple prose line.
Okay. Yeah. Text 1. Yasya prasadat agnopi sadhya sarvagnatam prajit sa Sri Chaitanya Devo mi Bhagavan samprasidatu. Translation. Prabhuji, can you scroll up? Yeah. Translation. Even a person with no knowledge can immediately acquire all knowledge simply by the benediction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, I'm praying to the Lord for his causeless mercy upon me. Text 2. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gaudodaya Pasupavanto Chitro Sando Tamonudao. Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Text 3. Jaitam Surato Pangor Mama Mandama Tergati Matsarva Swapadam Bojao Radha Madana Mohanao. Translation. Glory to the all merciful Radha and Madana Mohana. I am lame and ill advised, yet they are my directors and their lotus feet are everything to me. Text 4. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumada Srimad Ratnagara Simhasana Stav Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Presta Libi Hi Sevya Manav Smarami. Translation. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavana, underneath a desire tree, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. Text 5. Sriman Rasa Rasaram Vi Vamsi Vata Tatasita Karsan Venu Swarnair Gopir Gopinatha Sri Estuna. Translation. May Gopinathji, who attracts all the gopis with the song of his flute and who has begun the most melodious rasa dance on the bank of the Yamuna in Vamshivata, be merciful upon us. Text 6. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Kripa Sindhu Jaya Jaya Sachisuta Jaya Dina Bandhu. Translation. All glories unto Sri Gaurahari, who is an ocean of mercy. All glories unto you, the son of Sachidevi, for you are the only friend of all fallen souls. Text 7. Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Srivasadi Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Translation: all glories unto Lord Nityananda and Advaita Prabhu, and all glories unto all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, headed by Srivasa Thakur.
Just a brief note here. So, if you later you will notice that Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text number 3, Jayatam Surato Pangor, Mama Manda Mathirgati, Mat Sarvasva Padam Doja, Radha Madan Mohana. Madan Mohan is the Sambandha Dev. Sambandha Dev means he is the one who establishes our connection. And we need connection with Krishna. So how is Krishna connected with me in my life? What am I, is he just a aboriginal primitive god, or is a historical figure? So the world has this kind of confusion, and I'm not talking of people who are born outside India. Prabhupada said by giving an example, like just see my two hands. So outside India, they are so far away from Krishna. They have to take a cultural leap, adjust their diets, to talk to their family members, jobs, occupations, so many things. And then you come towards Krishna. And what is the challenge for those born in India? They are so close, but they are like this. Their back is turned towards Krishna. They have so many misconceptions about Krishna, whether Krishna really existed. Oh, he's not that great. So Prabhupada said for them, if they turn towards Krishna, the distance is not that great. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen so easily. For those outside, there is a big distance, but slowly if they come, they're actually facing there, they're asking the right questions. So Sambandha, connection, is established with Radha, Madan Mohan, and Sanatan Goswami is the Acharya for that. Text 4, we have Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada, Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasthav, Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Deva, Prashthalini Sevya Manava Smarami. In the temple of jewels in Vrindavan, underneath the desire tree, Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon a throne, effulgent throne, and I offer my pranams, my humble obeisance unto them. Once you establish a connection, then you start doing something. For example, you want to put money in a bank, for example. Okay, nowadays you can do everything online. Let us say you have to do something physically, like go to the grocery store and buy something. Now that connection with the grocery store has been established. You want to see whether I should go to supermarket A or B or C. Oh no, A and B is not good. C is better, but C is far away. So if C is far away, I don't have enough gas in my car. So I need to fill up gas first. So where do I go to fill up gas? Okay, I go to this place. I fill up my car with gas. Then I go there. I have to finish the whole job in an hour. So I come back. So this is how, I'm just giving a very mundane day-to-day example. Once you establish a connection with something, then you start acting. So if Krishna is the whole, WHOLE, I am his part. Like a hand is part of the body, so hand serves the body. Oh, that means by serving Krishna, I'm not doing something unnatural. I'm not doing something objectionable. I'm just doing my natural duty. What that duty is then? Radha Govinda, Radha Madan Mohan brings the connection. Radha Govinda establishes the duties. So then we have chant, dance, read Srimad Bhagavatam, associate with devotees, do some activities, don't do some activities. All that comes in the second stage called Abhidheya. First is Sambandha, second is Abhidheya. Abhidheya is, Prabhupada gives the name, functional deity. There are functions. Madan Mohan just establishes the connection. Abhidheya tells you what are the functions to be done in that. We move further, and the last one is Shriman Rasarasaramgi Om
Prayojana.
Shiva Tatastita Karshan Venu Soner Gopir Gopinatha Shriyastanaha. May Gopinath Ji, who attracts all the gopis with the song of his flute and who has begun the most melodious rasa dance on the bank of the Yamuna in Manchivat, be merciful upon us. You establish a connection, you are doing something, and then the question arises, for what? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you chant Hare Krishna? Why do you read Srimad Bhagavatam? Why do we distribute books? Why do we establish temples? And Prabhupada was once asked that, Srila Prabhupada, which is that one thing which if your followers do, you will be most pleased? And there were book distributors mainly in the room, and they were very happy. They had done a big Christmas marathon, and so many books had gone out, and it was very happy occasion all around in ISKCON at least. And they were expecting Prabhupada to say that if you distribute my books, I'll be very happy. Guess what he said? If you love Krishna. So loving Krishna is not limited to just cutting veggies, offering bhoga, making temples, or decorating deities, or becoming a scholar. No, all of these are part of the second stage. You have been endowed with intelligence, use it. Or you can do henna, mehndi, do it. Or you're a scholar, use your scholarship. You can distribute books, do that. You can mop the floor, do that. Or you are deaf, dumb, blind, whatever. You can just sit in the corner and appreciate. That also is good. So the prayojan, third, don't worry about the meaning. First is a connection, second is a function, third is the climax. I want to climb a mountain, connection is established. I need mountain gear. So get that gear, that is function. Now climbing the mountain and you're on the peak, that is the prayojan. So full love for Krishna is established by the gopis, and therefore the prayojan acharya is Raghunath Das Goswami. Sanatana Goswami for Sambandha, Rupa Goswami for Abhidheya, and Raghunath Das Goswami for prayojan. So this is like a very nutshell understanding of this three. Please continue further. If you don't have any questions, we'll go further.
Prabhuji, so we need to pray Sanatan Goswami like that. Every time we know Sambandha deity Sanatan Goswami, but what is the saying? How to understand, like so that we can take mercy from Sanatan Goswami to establish our relationship with Radha Madan Mohan's, like that? How to understand?
Okay, right. When you sit for your chanting, you just chant the Panchatattva mantra first. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. This is what Prabhupada said. Then you start chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, any other time when you feel like offering prayers is part of Vandanam, then you can take out these three, chant the first prayer with Sanatana Goswami, either a picture of Sanatana Goswami or the picture of Radha Madan Mohan temple in front of you, offer prayers. On Sanatana Goswami's disappearance day, you can offer special prayers for the connection. On Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, or if you are visiting Vrindavan at Radha Govindji temple, you can offer those prayers. At Radha Gopinath temple, you can offer prayers. On Raghunath Das Goswami's disappearance day, you can offer prayers. So it is not like you have to do this at a particular time of the day or something. It depends upon the mood, and time and again, you can use these nectar verses as a sort of a vitamin or mineral supplement. So every time you do something, at the back of your mind, you know, somebody says, Mataji, can you just come and help here? Now that's just not a mundane request by someone to lift something or fill the godown with books or cut some vegetables or do some decoration. you know that this is part of the abhidheya process. So this is how these things, now sambandha, like in one chutki, as I say in Hindi, or in 1 second, you can establish a connection. Functions take time, lifetimes sometimes. And the end is prayojan. So we are not impatient, at the same time, we are not lethargic. We try to balance things. So this is how we do. And somebody said that, oh, these 3 acharyas so important, others are not. We don't think like that. The acharyas, they are such a loving group. If one is glorified, they actually feel happy inside. Not like you and me, if 4 of us do something and my name is simply not mentioned. Like yesterday, when God sister was telling me, they made a drama for a small Namahata group, and she was the one who wrote the script. And then they thanked everybody for taking part and the director for directing. And she said, nobody mentioned my name that I wrote the script. So I said, how did you feel? She said, yeah, I should admit I didn't feel that good. But what I did was, I just opened Prabhupada's biography, the Lilamrit, hard copy. And Satsarup Maharaj writes about an incident where devotees performed a very nice drama and Prabhupada didn't thank anyone. The program just ended. Prabhupada went to his room. And he said, devotees were asking me, how do we understand this? We were expecting Prabhupada to clap and say, very good, very good. So then he gives a philosophical understanding that at some point of time, Krishna decides that I have given this devotee more encouragement than what he deserves. Now I want to see whether he has grown up. I have seen 6-month-old babies like crying. They don't even tell their mom to pick them up. Mom picks them up. At 3 years, they say, pick me up, pick me up. And I've seen parents say, hey, you are a grown-up child now, I won't pick you up. What if a 10-year-old says, pick me up? No, you can walk. I won't pick you up. So everything has a reason. Why Krishna reciprocates with a particular devotee has a big, big, substantial reason behind that. So we don't need to talk to each other and quarrel about why I didn't get the credit or whatever. We should feel happy. Oh, I did something and my name was not mentioned, which means I have graduated from that group to a higher group. I am not supposed to ask. Of course, Krishna doesn't do anything just to make us feel rotten. He reciprocates in Hindi. I heard a saying that demigods, when you pray to them, they expect something like a bhopla, like a squash. What do you call squash in Telugu?
Gummadkaya.
Gummadkai.
Gummadkaya.
Yeah. So like a big vegetable this fat. And they respond by giving you a amla. this small. So Krishna is not like that. You take 1 step towards him, he take 10 steps towards you. So that is understanding. So please move forward.
So
Any more
Prabhuji,
questions?
yeah, one question. Remember we discussed about this topic, last year too. In one instance, you explained about Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Gopinath ji, and Radha Govind ji. And also we talked about Radha Raman in Vrindavan. So all these 3 deities kind of, can you explain that once again, Prabhuji?
The beautiful form of Radha Raman, when Radha Raman is not like carved by anybody. It is not a murti or a archa vigraham made by someone. It grew from a shaligram shila, a shaligram stone, which was with the Gopal Bhatta Goswami, another one of the exalted 6 Goswamis. And what the Goswamis would do is, their lives are very simple. They didn't build themselves any home. They would sleep under a different tree. They would eat whatever they would get by begging. All day and night, they would simply chant, simply discuss Krishna, tell each other stories, their realizations. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, obviously, when he saw the miracle, one of his Shilas, the Damodar Shila, grew into Radharaman. He called all of them. And there this conclusion was kind of passed, that his lotus feet looked like exactly like Radha Madan Mohan. His mid part, the waist, is like Radha Govind, and his upper part of the body up from his neck, his lotus face, that resembles Radha Gopinath's beauty. So that is the understanding given by our acharyas.
Prabhuji, these 3 deities looks different.
Well, yes and no. What can I say with my mundane vision, whether he is beautiful or not? To tell you honestly, we had gone to Eka Chakra, which is the place of Nityanand Prabhu, and there is a deity of Krishna who is called Bankim Rai. Now, Banka means crooked. So Krishna actually is crooked, doesn't stand straight. He's bent in threefold bending form, Tribhanga Lalitam. So at that time, I was like a newcomer, complete newcomer. And there is a devotee who was like here for 4 or 5 years at least. This is 1988. So he must have joined in 84 or something, or 86. And he actually whispered in my ear, I don't see this as beautiful at all. Because it was done in Bengali style with huge eyes. Have you ever seen that form, how they dress up there? And so I was thinking, yeah, like we have our ways of understanding material beauty. And then Maharaj gave a class, somehow that got connected with Jagannath Puri's pastimes. And there he mentioned how Prabhupada discusses Lord Chaitanya saw Jagannath's temple and started crawling on his knees.
What?
Then when he entered the temple, seeing Jagannath, he fainted. Now, if you see Jagannath's pictures, what is the beauty there? Just 2 limbs jutting out, round face, black eyes. So Prabhupada said, from the ordinary point of view, it is not beauty at all. But we should see beauty from the point of view of our superiors, the acharyas. That face of Jagannath was enough for Mahaprabhu to swoon, to faint. So that got adjusted. So therefore, this is a perennial question, especially devotees who are 1 or 2 years in the movement. And they say that, how do you know this is Madan Mohan? How do you know this is Madhava? How do you know this is Radha Shyam Sundar? In fact, for the outside folk, all of us devotees look the same. Have you noticed that? In Bangalore, one devotee, he was actually cultivated by another devotee who was expert at American Sign Language, ASL. He was a deaf and dumb devotee, and he used to preach by his writing and also by that sign language. So he went to a shop to buy some ropes, nylon ropes. And in India, you always haggle, no, not so much, not so much. So the shopkeeper said, no, I can't give it at that rate. So he said, no, I don't want it either. After half an hour, the other devotee came. He was passing through the same street, and the shopkeeper called him and said, all right, take it. He said, take what? Take it at 50 rupees. He said, I don't want it. What do you mean you don't want it? You said half an hour ago that you can afford only 50 rupees. So he said, hey man, cool down. What are you talking? He says, didn't you come half an hour ago? He said, no. He said, wow, you are devotees and you lie. He said, I swear I don't lie. He said, you came. He said, look, I may bring that other fellow, and then you'll be kind of assured that I was not the one who came. The shopkeeper gave such a puzzled look. He said, I'm sure he came, and now he's saying that he didn't come. So if we look alike, what to speak of Krishna's Archa Vigrahas everywhere. But after some time, you immediately understand, like in America, if you see, oh, this is Rukmini Dwarkadish from Los Angeles. Oh, this is Kishore Kishori from Chicago. Oh, this is Radha Murlidhar from New York. Oh, this is Radha Govindji from Brooklyn. So you take darshan every day and then you understand. That's how it is.
Prabhuji, that Ekachakra Bankim Rai, that's where Nityananda Prabhu merged, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Prabhuji, if anyone wants to read.
Anyone wants to read, you can please start.
Gary Prabhuji, you want to try?
I can try if you want. Text 8. Purve kahilun adilara sutragana yaha vistariya chena dasha brindavana. Translation. I have previously described in synopsis the Adi Lila initial pastimes, which have already been described by Vrindavana Dasa Thakura. Text 9. Ataeva tara ami sutra matra kailun ye kicho vishesha sutra madhya kailun. Translation. I have therefore given only a synopsis of those incidents, and whatever specifics were to be related have already been given in that synopsis. Text 10. Ebe kahi sesha lilaram mukhya sutragana prabhuda ashesha lila na yaya varnana. Translation. To describe the unlimited pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not possible, but I now wish to relate the chief incidents and give a synopsis of those pastimes occurring at the end. Text 11 and 12. Taramadye ye Bhagadasha Vrindavana Chaitanya Mangale Vistari Karila Varnana Se Bagera Ihan Sutra Matra Likiba Tehanye Vishesha Kichu Ihan Vishtari Ba. Translation. I shall describe only in synopsis that portion which Vrindavana Dasa Thakura has described very elaborately in his book Caitanya Mangala. Whatever incidents are outstanding, however, I shall later elaborate. Text 13. Caitanya Lilara Vayasa Dasa Vrindavana Tanra Agyaya Karon Chandra Tandra Uchista Karvana. Translation. Actually, the authorized compiler of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Srila Vrindavana Dasa, the incarnation of Vasudeva. Only upon his orders am I trying to chew the remnants of food that he has left. Text 14. Bhakti kare sire dari danara charana sesha lilara sutragana kariye varnana. Translation. Placing his lotus feet upon my head in great devotion, I shall now describe in summary the Lord's final pastimes. Text 15. Chabisha Vatsara Prabhura Grihe Avastana Tahanye Karila Lila Adi Lila Nama. Translation. For 24 years, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at home, and whatever pastimes he performed during that time are called the Adi Lila. Text 16. Kabisha Vatsara Seshe Ye Magha Masa Tara Sukla Pakshe Prabhu Karila Sanyasa. Translation. At the end of his 24th year, in the month of Magha, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, the Lord accepted the renounced order of life, sannyasa. Text 17. Sannyasa Kariya Chabisha Vatshara Avastana Tehanye Lila Tara Sesha Lila Nama. Translation. After accepting sannyas, Lord Chaitanya remained within this material world for another 24 years. Within this period, whatever pastimes he enacted are called the Sesha Lila, or pastimes occurring at the end. Text 18. Sesha Lilara Madhya Antya Dui Nama Aya Lila Bede Vaishnava Saba Nama Beda Kaya. Translation. The final pastimes of the Lord occurring in his last 24 years are called the Madhya, middle, and Antya, final. All the devotees of the Lord refer to his pastimes according to these divisions. Text 19. Taramadi Chaya Vatsara Gamana Nilachala Gauda Setu Bandua Brindavana. Translation. For 6 years of the last 24, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled all over India, from Jagannath Puri to Bengal and from Cape Corin to Vrindavana. Text 20. Tehan Ye Lila Tara Madhya Lila Nama Tara Pachi Lila Antya Lila Abhidana. Translation. All the pastimes performed by the Lord in those places are known as the Madhya Lila, and whatever pastimes were performed after that are called the Antya Lila. Text 21. Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, Antya Lila Ara, Ebe Madhya Lilara Kichu Kare Vistara. Translation. The pastimes of the Lord are therefore divided into 3 periods: the Adi Lila, the Madhya Lila, the Anti Lila. Now I shall very elaborately describe the Madhya Lila. Text 22. Ashtadasa Varsha Kevala Nila Chale Stiti Apani Achari Dive Sikaila Bhakti. Translation. For 18 continuous years, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at Jagannath Puri and through his personal behavior instructed all living entities in the mode of devotional service. Text 23. Taramadye Chaya Bastara Bhakta Gana Sange Prema Bhakta Pravataila Nirtya Gita Range. Translation. Of these 18 years at Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent 6 years with his many devotees. By chanting and dancing, he introduced the loving service of the Lord.
Okay, so there's a brief recess here. What Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, our guide and master, is doing is giving us a kind of a roadmap. Mahaprabhu stayed on this material platform for 24 years, for 48 years. The first 24 from childhood, youth, as a scholar, then 2 marriages, not simultaneously, one after another. He was married to Lakshmi Priya when he was a scholar. Then he went to East Bengal, today's Bangladesh, taught so many thousands of students, got some money. That was a time when his first wife left this mortal world. The word used is on the pretext of a snake bite. And some expression is given that this snake is the snake bite of separation. So she is Lakshmi herself, so she cannot die as a material person would die. And the same Lakshmi later came as the second wife, Vishnu Priya. And he was not married there for a very long time. He had a widowed mother, a very beautiful, youthful wife. He also was a youth. And for the sake of preaching Krishna consciousness and performing the role of a Yuga avatar, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas. So the time he took sannyas till the end of his pastimes is divided into 2 parts called Madhya, the mid, and Antya, the end. For 18 continuous years, Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri. In 1996, one of the most illustrious spiritual teachers of the Hare Krishna movement after Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj, who was from Odisha right from his childhood. He was a devotee of Jagannath, devotee of Gopal. He was a school teacher. He got married, had 7 children, and then after taking permission of his wife, decided to roam around all of India. The calling was just too much. She gave him permission. His children were settled, and he took sannyas in Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan. Prabhupada gave him sannyas. Then Prabhupada sent him to Bhubaneswar, the capital of Odisha, where he established a small temple. Prabhupada told him to translate Srimad Bhagavatam first, and that's what he did. And then he toured America, I think from 1994 or something like that, or 2 or 3, 4 years he was coming to America regularly. And very quickly devotees understood his exalted position. So one day, 2 Western ladies said that, Maharaj, we have a question. Why is Jagannath Puri so important to us? If Krishna performed his pastimes in Vrindavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip and Mayapur, what is Jagannath Puri then? From Mahaprabhu's point of view, why would he spend 18 years? While Gaur Govind Maharaj was explaining these pastimes, he passed away. That's the story. So, in case you want to get a briefest kind of a idea, ISKCON Desire has all the English classes given by Gaur Govind Maharaj. It takes some kind of habit to understand his English. He also apologized that, like time and again he says, you understand my language? You understand my language? And because most of the devotees would be Westerners and they would ask, what do you say? What is that you said? But the subject matter is, gosh, so rich. Especially when he understands, he makes you understand the comparison between the gopis' understanding of Krishna, Radharani's understanding of Krishna, and how Mahaprabhu is experiencing the same symptoms. And he said Jagannath Puri is that place where, in his words, Mathura meets Vrindavan. There is a book compiled from his lectures. So, we are on Madhya Lila. Adi Lila is, say, something like 20%. Antya Lila is something like 20% of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the middle part, 60% or more, is Madhya Lila. So, from text 24, we have what Mahaprabhu did while he was in Jagannath Puri. So I'll just read up to text 32. From there, the big purports start. That will take from next class. Text 24. Nityananda Gosai re pathaila Gauda deshe, teho Gauda deshe bhasaila prema rase. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda Prabhu from Jagannath Puri to Bengal, which is known as Gauda Desh. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu overflooded that country with the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Sahajai Nityananda Krishna Premodam Prabhu Agyai Kaila Jaha Taha Premadam. Shri Nityananda Prabhu is by nature very much inspired in rendering transcendental loving service to Lord Krishna. Now, being ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he distributed this loving service anywhere and everywhere. Text 26. Tahara charane mora koti namaskar, Chaitanya bhakti jai ho lavaila samsar. I offered innumerable obeisances under the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is so kind that he spread the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Text 27. Chaitanya Gosai jare bale bodo bhai, teho kahe mora Prabhu Chaitanya Gosai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to address Nityananda Prabhu as his elder brother, whereas Nityananda Prabhu addressed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his Lord. Text 28. Yadyapi apani hoy Prabhu Balaram, tathapi Chaitanya kare dasa abhiman. Now this is a very interesting secret. Although Nityananda Prabhu is none other than Balaram himself, he nonetheless always thinks of himself as the eternal servant of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 29. Chaitanya Seva, Chaitanya Gao, Lao Chaitanya Nam, Chaitanya Je Bhakti Kare, Say Mora Pran. Translation. Nityananda Prabhu requested everyone to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chant his glories, utter his name. Nityananda Prabhu claimed that person to be his life and soul who rendered devotion service unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ei mattaloke Chaitanya Bhakti Lavaila, Dinahina Nindaka, Sabare Nistarila. Translation. In this way, Srila Nityananda Prabhu introduced the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to everyone without discrimination. Even though the people were fallen souls and blasphemers, they were delivered by this process. Text 31. Tabe Prabhu Braje Pathaila Rupa Sanatan, Prabhu Agyai Dui Bhai Aila Vrindavan. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then sent the two brothers, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami, to Braj. By his order, they went to Sri Vrindavan Dham. Bhakti Prachariya Sarvatirtha Prakashila Madan Gopal Govindera Seva Pracharila. Excuse me. After going to Vrindavan, the brothers preached devotion service and discovered many places of pilgrimage. They specifically initiated the service of Madan Mohan and Govindaji. So, text 33 begins the great exalted service of the six Goswamis. From here, we dive deep into the role of the intellect in bhakti. Do we need brains for bhakti, or do we just need a heart? We need both. What is Prabhupada's name? Bhakti Vedanta. A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Bhakti is the emotion part, Vedanta is the intellect part. And in the one of the most, you can mark it down, one of the most significant points of information Prabhupada gives is, take out the Vedanta part, only Bhakti, and you will become a cheap imitator. You are better than the Mayavadis, but you will become a cheap imitator. Take out the Bhakti part, you will become a dry mental speculator. We need both. Always we need both. So that we'll take from our next meeting. Anything else before we sign off?
Prabhuji, text 17, it says about sannyasa order. Is it the same like I felt like Magamas and waxing moon for Chaitanya's birth time also? Is the
No,
same?
wait a minute. We're talking of text 17.
17 on the month of Maga, waxing moon, he took sannyasa order. I felt we read like that for his birth time also, same thing.
It says 17.
Text 17, I think, Prabhu.
Sannyasa koya 24 vatsara avasthan, taha jai lila tara shesha lila naam. After accepting sannyas. So, 16 says,
16.
at the end of his 24th year, in the month of Magh, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, the Lord accepted the renounced order of life, sannyas. See, he appeared in Falgun Purnima.
Falgun, okay.
And in Magh, he took sannyas.
Okay.
We celebrate both occasions. They are there in our Vaishnava calendar.
Magh Mas means which month, Prabhu?
Magh is Jan Feb.
Jan Feb. Yeah, we never celebrate sannyas celebration, right?
Magamas tomorrow. Prabhuji.
Magamas is?
The tomorrow starting, Prabhuji.
See, tomorrow. So, okay, there is a difference, not exactly the same date of the English calendar, but roughly.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you.
All right, Vancha Kalpataru Bhashcha